It's Thursday, and you know what that means. That means it's time to ignite the dynamite a day later. And welcome to Day After Dynamite right here on Fightful Overbooked. I'm Will Washington, and I'm joined by a man that you're probably used to seeing me with because he's my co-host from Grapsody every Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on youtube.com/Fightful. It's Mr. Righteous Reg.
In the building, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. I was waiting for my rap to come on. I was like, yeah, we're about to go, but I forgot this is not Grapsody. This is Fightful Overbooked today. Will Washington, thank you for having me, man. I'm happy to be here.
I know, right?
I'm just like, yo, where is my rap? Why are we going right into this?
Hey, you know what's funny is, I mean, this is the same platform. I literally could hit play on it, but this ain't Grapsody. This is a different show. Yeah, not Grapsody. It's not Grapsody unless Phil is here also. We are Grapsody, but as they're saying in the chat, it's Dadspody. See, now you just ruined it. It don't even work
That's
anymore.
something.
Yeah, but this is Day After Dynamite.
Okay, interesting. Yes.
Yes, but we're talking about last night's AEW Dynamite. Although right before the show, we were actually talking about other things that happened last night because
tough one out there for some.
I mean, it was tough. Speaking of Grapsody, it was tough for me and it was tough for Phil, right? Because, because both our teams went out after going 3-1. At least we didn't get swept. We're not the Nets.
Yes, no sweep.
But
And both teams played tough. It wasn't a total blowout on either side. It was just like these other teams are just so good at this that they're hard to beat. That's pretty much it.
You know, I'm finding it funny talking to Reg about this because he's keeping it like calm and like humble because he knows that his team is the Golden State Warriors.
It's the Warriors, I know.
And you're like, yeah, you know, you guys, hey, you had a good run.
You know, they got hard out there. It was tough fight. No, the Warriors are the Warriors, man. Steph Curry's back in there starting. Jordan Poole's going crazy. Clay and Draymond are just balling all over the court. Like Draymond was on Jokic for a lot of the thing, and he was like, he didn't get manhandled. He was out there, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, I got worried when Jokic had that fourth foul in the third quarter, and I thought, oh, this is it. Because, like, you know, I was screaming at the TV, like, put in Boogie. Like, you have to put in Cousins. But whatever. Basketball is over for me. I will still be watching because I'm a basketball fan.
It's over, he says.
But it's over for me.
There's still a lot of great teams in the playoffs, though. So it's going to be some great games going on.
Yeah.
Damn, you're about to go to the game tomorrow.
I bought tickets. I know. I bought tickets to Game 6. Did I think Game 6 really had a chance at happening? Not really. But it would have been nice.
When you said it in the chat, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if you're going to make it.
Look, that's why I bought them, right? Because I'm like, what's the harm, right? Like, if I buy these tickets, either I'm going to have a fun Friday night or it ain't happening at all. So, I'm actually joined by a guest.
We're talking basketball. I'm here for the basketball talk. I don't care about Dynamite.
Look, it's a sore subject for Will, Jeremy. You know, like things didn't go their way, but you know, there's always.
You know what though? I'm actually gonna join Jeremy. Right? I'm gonna become a hockey fan because
it's our year, Will. It's our year. I'm gonna see you in June. I'm gonna see you in June in the finals. I'm crashing on your couch. I'm gonna see you there.
Hey, there's a guest room literally right there.
Boom.
Only people that use it are my cats.
Here's a cat on deck.
Literally, she just hopped in my lap like right as like it was funny. I was about to say we're joined by a guest, but I was actually talking about the cat, and then Jeremy popped in. Like
it's my running gimmick. I pop in here when you have people that I know and say hi. And Reg is here. Undefeated, undisputed,
Let's
pillar
go,
to post
baby.
champion.
Pillar to post. They don't want any of this, even though somebody in here, Jeremy, I kind of think wants some of this. So
I'm gonna get you. We're bringing it back next week. It'll be back next week. I promise everybody. So I think we're gonna do it Wednesdays on now because Joel Pearl has kicked me off of Tuesdays. So we'll do it on Wednesdays, and we'll get that running again. It'll be good.
What am I doing Wednesdays? I mean, work, but that's.
Nobody does work around here, Will.
Come on, not real work. This is all about wrestling. Will, what are you talking about?
I know, right? Yeah, wrestling and basketball. How have you enjoyed the playoffs so far, Jeremy?
Oh, good. I root for good games. Timberwolves and Grizzlies, like that's been just such a great series. That's been my favorite series.
5-star classics back to back with these guys.
Yeah. That's been such a fun series. I'm looking forward to the games tonight. I hope Utah continues to implode. My 76ers, they're going to close it out tonight. Not worried about it. They got this.
You said 100% not worried
got
about
this. Not worried about it at all. Sixers got this, 100%.
All right, okay, we're gonna see.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right, thank you, Jeremy.
I'm gonna plug real quick. I'm gonna plug since I'm gonna plug stuff on your show here. I'm gonna plug FMC every Friday at 8:30 with myself and SP3 because all we do is talk about basketball on that show.
Yes.
And you guys, if you're up
basketball talk.
Yes, if you're up at 8:30, come on, join us on FMC, and we talk dad stuff as well. At some point, we will do a dad roundtable with myself, SP3, Will, and Alex McCarthy. But FMC every Friday, 8:30 on Fightful Overbooked. It's myself and SP3 talking a lot of basketball.
I'm in.
Thanks, guys. You guys have a good show. Enjoy Dynamite. Enjoy talking about Dynamite. Reg, good to see you. Will, good to see you. Catch you guys later.
See you, man. Thanks for coming.
Hey, and we got some super chats. Shout out Jesse. Just
what's up, Jesse? Hey, Jesse.
And why do you know the theme song to Jesse?
I don't. I thought we're just gonna move on. I didn't think you were gonna really point it out. I was like,
I have kids.
I'm just gonna do it, and then it's just gonna go, and that's gonna be it. But you had to have kids and have to be watching Disney Channel. Look, we're watching. Things happen how they happen. Okay. I can't get anything past Will Washington. What was I thinking? A theme song to a child show? Come on, man.
Yeah. And Nathan says, fun fact, T-Wolves undefeated when there is a protester.
Protesters are just trying so hard to get on that court.
Jesse also said, I have y'all shirts. Hey.
Send that.
You know,
I'm ready. Yeah.
Them shirts looked great. Mm-hmm. And I am ready.
Vegas is coming up, so.
Vegas, that's right.
Let's go.
Oh, man, there's so much coming up. In Vegas, in L.A., and then
I'm so excited about LA, man. Those Dynamite shows and Rampage are going to be so fire, man.
Yes. But Dynamite last night was actually in the great state of Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. Philly, they love pro wrestling there.
They do. I'm told that there's a promotion from the 90s that actually really made a strong name there.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
No, there was some ECW faithfuls out there. They had like some ECW tribute signs. ECW was chanted like it was Philadelphia. They were there when they know about pro wrestling. They're long time hot pro wrestling area, independent wrestling especially. So for AEW to be there, they're always hot for stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, this show was a show I had to actually watch backwards because I didn't get home last night until right in the middle of Shida and Deeb. So I've actually had to watch that one twice. And I saw everything after that, then watched the basketball game. And then today went back and watched, I started from the beginning and made it all the way up to Shida Deeb, seeing the second time through and how it finished, and then finished. And so... yeah, and somebody says the mic will. I don't know what that means. But I guess let me know. But so, Will's breaking up a bit. Huh.
Yeah, a little bit on this side too. I don't know what it is.
Okay. Hopefully that rectifies here shortly because that must be a connection thing.
Will is a bot. They love those bot gimmicks.
Oh, well, shoot. Let me think of how to fix this. I guess just refresh.
Will Washington, he's out of there. I'm dad of Dynamite today. Yeah, and so like there was some wrestling going on. AEW, I think, was what they call it. Started off with two brothers. No, they're not brothers. They're tag team.
Am I any better now?
It sounds better. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I watched the show backwards, but I'm not going to take y'all through how I watched it.
Yes.
I'm going to go in order. And as you were just mentioning, yeah, show started out with our first match. It saw a highly anticipated match in the Owen Hart Cup. It was Dax Harwood going one-on-one with Cash Wheeler with CM Punk on commentary.
Yep. I love immediately starting out how they came out from different entrances to just kind of play off of that, but they came out together to get to the ring. Great way to start the match for sure.
Yeah, I was wondering how they were going to do it, and I forget that AEW has the 2 tunnels, right? Because I was thinking like, oh yeah, you just play the music for one and then play it for the same song for the other, but to have them both come out from each side, I thought was a dope way to do it.
The funny thing about that is you said you forget they have a tunnel, but I remembered that they have the different tunnels because of you, because you're always like, oh, recently when you said that they switched it, the venues, they have them switched, the camera, so I'm like always thinking about those little tunnels now because of Will Washington.
Well, and you know what's funny is when I don't know where I was going with this. Next week though. Next week is I need to warn people. Next week is another mirrored week. So you are going to see and every time there's people who tweet, they're like, "Oh my god, such just came out of the heel tunnel." It's like, no. If the hard camera's on the other side, because the heels are supposed to come out on the side. I guess the way it was explained to me is that heels are supposed to come out to the side that is opposite the fans, and so it allows them to kind of motion toward the fans, I guess. And so it's in reverse if the hard camera is on the other side.
Oh, okay, because the other side is like straight on. Yeah, I get it. Okay, I understand.
And so the last week in Pittsburgh had the hard camera on the other side. Next week in Baltimore also has it on the other side. So gonna have to deal with that. That said, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. If you didn't know any better, you would think these guys liked Bret Hart and Owen Hart because
I think they might be fans, just a little
They
bit.
might be fans. Yeah, these two went out there and did Bret and Owen. That did. Was with some other homages in there. They did Bret Benoit. They did Bret Perfect. But ultimately, this was to pay homage to Bret and Owen. I know the homages aren't for everybody, but
yeah, some people didn't like them at all.
Here's a little secret. FTR's entire gimmick is an homage to classic wrestling. That has been them since the Revival. That's literally the name, the Revival. They're reviving the old school styles of wrestling. That's what these two do.
In their big matches, they always pay homage to some tag team, some great tag team. In the Briscoes match they did, and the Young Bucks match they did. That's just what they do. That's their thing.
Yeah, they pay homage. And so these two, they wanted to do a tribute to Owen and Bret. And I thought it was perfect for that. They went out there and gave us what I thought was a classic. The fans were into it. I thought CM Punk dropping an old Twitter joke of referring to them as bald in hair.
Yes. CM Punk was great on commentary. These guys put on like a wrestling clinic, a wrestling classic. They're just hold for hold, back to back. We know each other's spots. I like the attention to detail that the commentators, specifically CM Punk, there was a pile driver and CM Punk was like, "You're sacrificing your tag team partner for this match. We're getting down to the nitty gritty." Like there was a lot of like nuanced things that they brought to the match. This match was just great, man. Like everything that we expected from this happened in this match. It was great.
It was a lot of fun, and I wasn't sure who to go with as the victor, but it makes sense because, like, on one end, I thought, okay, Dax has more singles experience, but he hasn't won in singles at all. And so that could be a disadvantage to him. But in the end, they went with Dax because of that fact that he's the one with the singles experience. Cash is not. So ultimately,
I thought when they brought that up on commentary that it was kind of pretty clear that Dax was going to go over. They were like, Cash has never had a singles match. It's his first singles match in AEW, and he said he hadn't had. It's been like 5 years. He's only had 3 matches in the last 5 years. So, yes, they set it up, and the finish was super creative and great, and it was just a fight. It showed that the whole match was a fight, and the final battle was a fight, and they ended.
Yeah, like because it started out with them just in hold mode, and then Dax accidentally got Cash in the eye, and Dax was like trying to. Like, that was an accident, and Cash shoves him, and then it turns into a fight. And this is just great stuff. These two obviously really love professional wrestling.
They do.
And they
like
are
they don't
going
care
to,
if fans don't like it. They don't care. They're like, we're gonna do what we want to do, and I guess that kind of plays along to the story they told on Renee's podcast, and they talked about potentially going back to WWE, and it's like WWE's not going to let us do what we're doing right now, so why would we?
Yeah, you know, they talked about how this match came about and that they pitched it to Tony. They straight up said, look, you got a tournament coming up. We want to be in it, and not just in it. We would also like to have a match against each other.
Right.
And Tony just gave them the match.
Yep.
So...
Because that's Tony Khan. Tony Khan, they said he thought about it, but then Tony Khan just needs to think about it for a little bit, get his pro wrestling brain in there and be like, oh, yeah, that's actually a great idea. Let's do it. You know, like if you pitch it to him good enough, you're going to get it. And that was a great pitch. The way that they're talking about the video package in the comments, the video package got a lot of people interested in the match. Like everything surrounding it. They built this match in like a week or so, and they got people excited for it. It was everything it needed to be.
Yeah. I loved it. I loved everything.
Owen Cup's gonna be badass, man, when it gets kicked off, and like the matches leading up to it have been awesome.
Yeah, and we only have I guess 3 more participants. But technically 2 if you know the Rampage spoilers, but 2 more participants. I don't know who they're gonna be. So I have guesses. Like I don't know. I think they'll put Keith Lee in. That's a thought. He hasn't had a qualifier yet. But other than that, who knows? This is going to be quite a tournament. And we had our winner, it was Dax. Overall, I give this a solid A. I have to have room to grow, people who got mad at me for not giving an S to FTR versus the Young Bucks. This is an A. Yeah, a solid A. There's not a whole lot I would change here. This is very, very good. Right. And did Keith Lee qualify already? Did he? Hold on. Who's in the Owen Cup? Now I have to look at that. I don't. What is it? AEW.
Did he?
That doesn't sound right.
Who'd he beat?
But let me.
Did he beat Max? Was that Max Caster match? Wasn't?
No, that was no. Keith Lee's not in. Because you're thinking of the I know what you're thinking of. It was the Face of the Revolution ladder match.
Yes.
That he had qualified for when he beat Max Caster.
Yes.
And so yes, there's still more to go.
But yeah, I could definitely see Keith Lee in there.
Yeah, and that wasn't Max Caster. And also, we're still mixed up. He beat Isaiah Cassidy.
Okay,
Max Caster was beaten by Samoa Joe.
Okay, yeah. Things are all mixed up over here.
Yeah, so we're all mixed up because there were similar matches, right? It was a debut that happened, and you beat Black Wrestler on TV. Yeah. So that was how that happened.
Isaiah, Max Caster, all kind of names and things. Okay, sorry guys.
Yeah, but so.
And they announced last night the date of the beginning of the Owen Cup is going to be at the May 11th show.
May 11th in Long Island. Yeah, or on Long Island. Excuse me.
JF's going to beat you up, dude. You better get it right.
I wonder what they do there. We'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah.
Because that's coming up in 2 weeks, and MJF is on the other side of a feud right now. But so we learned earlier in the day that Hangman Adam Page is out with COVID. Yeah. And being out with COVID, that Dave Meltzer reported that resulted in this show needing to be rewritten, that there was going to be a little bit more of an angle that led to things with CM Punk. But instead, we just kind of got the announcement. Match announcement drops.
CM Punk being on commentary now makes a lot more sense. Like, why is CM Punk randomly out here? But now he got the mic right after they announced the match and everything. So, okay, now I see it a little bit clearer now.
Yep, and he grabs the mic and he talks up the fans and how everything he did up to this point, except for Eddie Kingston, was a build up to his ultimate goal, his ultimate destination of becoming the AEW World Champion. You know what I love about this, by the way? Going back to you getting CM Punk to cry. Back at Revolution.
Oh yeah, I did that. I did make CM Punk cry at the presser for Revolution. I remember.
You did. This is stuff he was talking about, right? He was like immediately like, next goal, It's the championship. I'm not here. He's like, I don't know how much more time I got. So my next goal is to become AEW champion. And I tweeted this the other day. And it's so funny, the responses I got on it, like, had me dying. Because I said, this was really the first AEW main event, really since I feel like Cody and Jericho, where it's really hard to call. Because it could go either way. And I swear to you, it is almost 50-50 in the responses of people going, it's not hard to call. Hangman's going to win. Oh, it's not hard to call. Punk's going to win. And I'm like, you guys realize you're both saying the opposite things. So one of you is wrong in saying that it's not hard to call, which is the definition of could go either way. Because either one
I've seen
makes
a lot
sense.
of people saying, like, oh, Hangman has to do this for his legacy. He has to beat CM Punk. And then other people being like, CM Punk needs to be the champion. Like, if he's here, you got to utilize him as the champion. So, like, yeah, it's been people on both sides legit. So this is going to be great. I love that. Just that aspect being added to it.
Well, because I look at it like there's many ways they can go here. I've seen the idea thrown out that Punk turns heel, but also like the way Punk was talking last night, don't sound like he needs to. Right. And, you know, there's the idea that last summer, 3 names came in: Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, and CM Punk. Right now, Adam Page is beating Bryan Danielson. He's beaten Adam Cole. There's only one left of those 3 names that came in that he hasn't conquered yet. And so there's that side of that story. Sense. But then on the other side, like when you look at Punk's arc has been him working his way up the establishment names of AEW. He beat Darby Allin. He beat Eddie Kingston. He's beaten MJF. And now his final stage is
Hangman.
Adam Page. And so we have, like, on both sides of that, we have reason to get there.
Right.
I think we will.
I think so. I think even hearing both of what you said right now, I'm like, oh my God, I'm even more in between of like, it could go either way. Cause like, Page is on that arc to beat the 3 guys, but then like Punk has been like leading up, like you said, he's really been doing everything just to lead up to this title match and to become AEW World Champion. And the fans are going to be excited either way. So this is just like recipe for success, as they would say.
I agree. And then we had, so it was a cool promo. It seemed like it was basically Punk's way of trying to make up for the fact that Page isn't there. Yeah. So got to do something. Get him hyped. We'll get into this next week, I guess.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So it's a reminder. It's still out there. COVID.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully Hangman's back in time. You'd like, shit, you don't know these days.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy out here.
Got that lingering COVID too.
Yeah. And
I know my connection went to shit. I recognize that. I can see it. I see the little thing on the top that's like trying to build itself back up. So I don't know what's going to make it get any better. But next on the show, we saw everyone's favorite Bcc. Renee had everybody talking when she said, "I love the BCC," and everybody's like, "What? What does that mean?"
I knew that was gonna happen. Every time I saw those letters, I'm like, "Yo, that's just way too close, you guys." But you know,
honestly, though, I saw somebody that had me dying. They said, "Wait. Does the C stand for Caucasian?" And I was like,
"Oh my god."
And she's just saying the other thing. Go. I was like, no, you can't say that.
These people.
But they're becoming like one of the most popular acts in the AEW right now.
Amazing. They're giving Yuta like the giant push. Like they keep letting him like get the wins, and the crowd was like, we want Yuta right now. And they were hot for him. Every time he hit the ring, it was lit.
Yeah, well, I mean, so Yuta, of course, this was his hometown. He's from Philly. And so he got a big entrance, and they faced The Factory. The Factory's got new music, I just learned, by the way, that has, like, lyrics. But they didn't get to use it here. Because I was just watching
Dark here, man. They're doing it, I guess.
I was watching Dark, and I'm like, wait, I've never heard this before. Where did this song get words? But they have music. Who would have guessed?
QT's like, you're gonna have me jobbing all these wrestlers. Let me get some bars on my song at least, bro. Put some lyrics on here while I'm getting my ass beat. This is crazy. You got me in here getting my ass beat against Suzuki on Dark, bro. Like, hook me up with some lyrics to this.
Yeah.
But shout out to them. They're going to be on New Japan Strong, too. Shout out to The Factory.
Yeah.
Good for them.
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, they're going to have a match. I think the same 3 that were in the match last night. So, yeah, good for them.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Blackpool Combat Club kicked their asses, though. It went through a commercial break, but they kicked the shit out of them.
Yeah, I was wondering that about the FTR match too, because they had a break in between. I was like, oh, well, Washington hates this match. I'm like, don't put a break in the middle. Will Washington's gonna be pissed, you guys. But they can't help it. They have to.
No, I know. God paid them bills. I just hate
it
commercials,
sucks.
but yeah,
It does suck.
Because I will say there's one match that didn't have a commercial break at all, and it was great. And we'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it's the next match. But yeah, this was fine. It was a beatdown, and it was there to continue to make Yuta look good. You can tell Brian is just excited to make Yuta look good.
Yeah, totally.
Because when like Brian gets into those types of projects, he loves to make other guys look good. When he got in there with Buddy Murphy back on SmackDown, he just wanted to make Buddy look great. And Mustafa
Kofi Mania, bro. Like,
Kofi Mania. Yeah, if Brian can use what he's got to make somebody look good, Brian's gonna do it, and he feels good about it. Yep. And Brian
just looks so happy to be out there. Like, I'm using my Bryan Danielson-ness to get this guy over, and it's working super hard. So good.
Yeah. And Evan Wright in the chat brought up Gulak. Gulak's another one. Yeah. Definitely. Although it has to be frustrating when you did it, and then you look back and are like, yeah, what was the everlasting effect of that? Buddy Murphy, he's working with me here now, as Buddy Matthews. Which there's one thing I'm like really excited about now. Again, I will talk about that in a sec. There's one singles match I absolutely want. Just give it to me.
Yes.
But yeah, this is fine. This is B
right.
territory.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's
a squash match pretty much.
It's a squash match. But it's a squash match for a faction people love. Yeah. And want to see, and who would have guessed that people would just get into guys kicking ass? And yes, Corey in the chat, you did guess the name of the match I wanted. Come on. And so, we had a backstage segment. Tony Schiavone backstage with Tony Storm and Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter.
This is where I have a lot of questions. Why do they keep doing these backstage segments with these two people? They've done like 4 of them, it seems like at this point. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. I don't know. And Britt Baker continues to like get her digs in. She told Ruby that she'll visit her home in catering. And I hope, because usually somebody who gets those kinds of digs in needs to get checked. Like, she's got to lose here at some point. Like, obviously, I don't think she's winning the tournament at all.
No.
But I'm curious where
one of them two is going to defeat her.
Yes.
Tony or Ruby.
Definitely. Yeah, I can see her putting over Tony Storm. Because, like, here's the thing. She's, like, great friends with Tony Storm. Right. Which is why, like, as far as she was willing to go with Tony was just, like, the pie in the face stuff. Which is, like, I'm sure fine. And then I actually really liked the Jungle Boy, the whole Jurassic Express stuff backstage where they're being interviewed in Cage. Christian Cage, basically like kind of came down on Jungle Boy where he's like, you know what? He's like, you sound like a loser right now. And it's not going to happen again.
Right. He's like, you're the tag champ. Put your belt on your shoulder, man. Like, stand tall. Everybody loses out here. Jungle Boy, get your shit together.
I like that because it seems like we're getting there to the Christian Jungle Boy stuff that this was obviously all designed.
They've been building it for a minute here now.
Yes. As a matter of fact,
Starks and Hobbs came through and said, yo, what's up? We about to take them championships. What's good?
And there's so much you can do there. Like, I'm excited. Yeah. This is cool. I don't think Starks and Hobbs will win, but I do think that we are, because we're only 4 weeks away from the pay-per-view. I actually think we are getting Swerve and Starks either one-on-one or they do the tag rematch at the pay-per-view. But something's happening with these guys.
Either way,
it seems like
hot.
the story's not over. I know. I kind of want the singles. I just want to see Swerve and Starks do it one more time. No FTW title on the line because I want Swerve to win. But I do want the one-on-one. But this is cool because I do want these two to tag. I liked that, or I want these two to at least challenge. I like that they are ranked. That when they released the rankings yesterday, sure enough, in the top 5, Hobbs and Starks are ranked. They're a ranked team. That's cool.
Big spine busters. That's what it gets you.
So we got Wardlow versus Lance Archer next. Everybody dies. This was fun. This is what I was going to say. So this went through this didn't have a commercial break. This is only a 5-minute match. But I've always said if you only have 5 minutes worth of content, just do it all. And don't stall. Don't rest hold it. Just give us what you got. 5 minutes of content. Give me everything. They gave us everything. I actually loved this match. I loved it way more than I thought I was going to because, one, Wardlow came in there to prove everything that everybody has always said about him, which is that this is I know we say the term agile big man a lot, but this guy just gets in there and can fucking go.
He's a big freak of nature. Yeah. He did Hurricane Rana.
He hit a Hurricane Rana. Then like the cleanest Hurricane Rana.
No, it was clean too. Yeah.
It was so clean.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of big men do that, and it's like, okay, I see it. Like, that's nice. But no, this was like, no, Wardlow hit that thing, and he hit it great. He looked dope.
This is one of the cleanest Ranas I have ever seen from a big man on a big man. Like everything about it just looked great. But then
Archer got to be Archer. He was beating up a bunch of people around the thing. He was
and then Archer got to be Archer in this match. I was worried actually that I'm like, well, Wardlow match is gonna essentially need to be a bit of a squash, but like Archer hit him with everything. Archer kicked the shit out of him, and Archer had the advantage. He hit him with the choke slam. He hit him with the blackout, but Wardlow ends up reversing it into a crucifix pin, which is the same way, as was pointed out on commentary, that Jon Moxley retained the AEW World title over Lance Archer back in October of 2020.
Your boy Wardlow been watching tapes, man. Y'all can't mess with Wardlow. He been watching tapes.
And this, I had no issues with this at all. This was just great stuff. Wardlow
big man brawl, big meaty man slapping meat. This was it.
Wardlow hits a senton off the top rope, also clean. He got distance on it too. Like it's one thing for him to just hit it. He's hit it before, but as far as he got on it, he almost cleared Archer.
I mean, the OG's in the back, so you got to be like, if the OG's gonna see me do this, I got to do it. So he did it.
Which is funny, by the way, the amount of people that are fans of Jeff Hardy and just happy to have him backstage. Like you see the Sammy Guevara vlog where he's just like, oh my God, it's Jeff. And getting to see Jeff, but like even to bust out my cousin a little bit, when we were hanging out, he taps me on the shoulder. He's like, hey, it's Jeff Hardy.
Bro, like, Jeff Hardy, dude, like, he is universal. He's the man.
Yeah. I'm like, he works here. Like, yeah, that's cool.
Nah, that's Jeff, baby.
I know, right? But like, so many people are really happy to be working with Jeff right now, and he was like the amount of people that were inspired by Jeff Hardy.
Ooh.
It's
probably like 99% of the roster at this point. Shit, like everybody has watched a Hardy Boys match at some point. Like,
no,
all the tag teams are like the Hardy Boys. Like every tag team you talk to are gonna be like the Hardy Boys are why we're here. So like, their influence is insane. The tag team, the greatest of all time, Nick and Matt Jackson. Come on, like, you know what it is. The best. And Jeff Hardy's gonna be in the Owen Cup. They announced.
Yeah.
Not in the Owen Cup, but qualifying for the Owen Cup.
Because he's facing Kyle O'Reilly.
No, Bobby Fish.
Bobby Fish, that's right.
Kyle O'Reilly wrestled.
Kyle O'Reilly is in already. I knew that because I had like the age thing in my head, but for some reason said Kyle O'Reilly out loud. Anyway, though, Wardlow. He wins. This one this is also an A for me. This was an A, especially the power bombs. The power bomb symphony continues to be over. And
when he gets a big guy like this out, it's even more over.
nothing like gives me more joy than watching the pop from when he does the roll through on the power bombs, and the crowd just always goes ape shit for that. It's always so great. Shout out Wardlow. That's a homegrown star. Like, literally somebody people had never heard of before. I had never once heard the name Wardlow before that promo they played at All Out, which now looking at it had Lee Johnson in it and Anna Jay. Like, all of those people who are like kind of mainstays in AEW now. But I'd never seen Wardlow before that. And the fact that they have turned this guy into... It's like, I remember 2 years ago when they first started teasing dissension between MJF and Wardlow, there were some people who were like, isn't it too soon for this? But in hindsight, I don't think it was, because I think it was important early on to establish that Wardlow is going to be treated like shit by MJF this whole time. That it's not so much dissension as much as it's MJF is going to treat this guy poorly because MJF owns his contract. MJF is going to do whatever the fuck he wants with this guy. And it still took them 2 years after they teased the first amount of dissension between them to just keep going. And yeah, Demon Grin pointed out that, yes, Alan Angels was in that video too. I mean, pretty much it was like all those Nightmare Factory guys that served in that Wardlow hype video to hype up Wardlow.
And shout out to Wardlow, Powerbomb Symphony. Powerbomb's one of my favorite. I could probably say Powerbomb's my favorite wrestling move of all time. So anytime somebody's like powerbombing somebody, it's lit. I mean, I know there's been a lot of moves that have come. There's flips and stuff, but like if you need a wrestling move, like when I was backyard wrestling, powerbomb was the spot. Like powerbomb has always been the spot. If you can get somebody up there, it's lit. So yeah, shout out to Wardlow. He's gonna be a AEW World Champion one day.
And he absolutely is.
And they built him from the bottom, and that's amazing.
From complete unknown, people who like deeply follow the indies maybe knew based on like you really had to be following like IWC, and that's
I watched the independents, and I didn't know about Wardlow. I'm like, I don't know. So.
Although. Funny story, and I told a little bit of this on Twitter, but I mentioned that I talked to a wrestling fan on the phone.
The computer thing.
Yeah, so the funny thing was, I had this hard drive I need to get repaired, so I called this data center company, this data restoration company, and they were going to take my hard drive in and give me a quote. And so when I gave him my email, which is an email I've had since high school, it's an email I use for stuff like that. Like I have my like personal email, but then if I'm gonna like do shit like this, I just give this bullshit one. And so he hears the email and he's like, "Are you by chance a wrestling fan?" And I was like, "I am." And he's like, "I thought so." He was like, "I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I wanted to ask, but
it could have been either wrestling or like 2006 hip hop. I don't know. Yeah, 2006 West Coast hip hop could be either one of those things."
Right. And he was like, and then he goes, "But this is what he said. He said, I actually fell out of wrestling for a long time." But I just recently started watching again. I actually follow AEW. And he goes, because this guy I went to high school with actually wrestles for them. His name's Wardlow. And I was like, yeah, Wardlow. And then that's when he and I just started geeking out.
Wow.
And
Wardlow's high school friend. That's super cool.
Yeah, and it ended up being like a great conversation I ended up having with the guy. And I looked up and like 15 minutes had gone by. And I'm like, man, we haven't even like talked about getting his hard drive fixed. We've just been talking wrestling this whole time.
You loved it. That's classic.
Yeah, I know. That's of
course. You could have talked to him for an hour and been like, I could have talked to him for an hour. We're having a great time here.
I do care about that hard drive because that's got like, let's see, if I've been podcasting for 17 years, 10 years of my work is on that hard drive. So if I can't get this fixed, like, for those who've been following me a long time, every episode I ever hosted of my old show, Now Playing Now, is on that drive. Those episodes exist nowhere else but that drive. If I can't get that fixed, those are gone. I also got some porn on there that like,
wait,
I'm like maybe interested in seeing again.
You want to see that old ass porn again? That's weird.
I don't know. Actually, that's the part I'm worried about,
There's
right?
streaming services now.
I know, right? Like that's the stuff I'm worried about. Where like they're like, yeah, we could get it going, and he was like, we'll check all the files and make sure they're working. I'm like,
no, it's fine.
I don't need y'all to do that. I just need you to make sure. Yeah, just make sure.
It's fine. The files are okay.
Yeah, files are okay. Just make sure the drive works. That's all I care about. I don't need you to look at nothing else on that drive.
Y'all gonna start looking at me weird when I go to pick it up. Can't know what kind of porn I like, dude. Come on. Y'all being weird.
Yep. So, next we had the Jericho Appreciation Society having a face-to-face with Eddie Kingston and friends. And but there's a no contact rule here. Mm-hmm. So talk all your shit because this is the place it goes down. And they were behind a table. What do they call them? The AEW Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
That
people love that.
Yeah. I don't know if like it's cheeky. And like the intros each week, they keep changing it up with the Jericho Appreciation Society for over 7 weeks. Mm-hmm. The leader in sports entertainment, like, okay, I'm gonna get over this really fast. I feel like
over it, honestly. I only like that Daniel Garcia is a part of this, but the rest of it, I'm out.
Well,
Jericho.
They were confronted, and we finally addressed the elephant in the room. There's only 3 members of Eddie Kingston's squad, and as long as he only has 3, he cannot compete. And Jericho asked him, like, when are you going to learn there's only 3 of you and 5 of us? And we're going to systematically take you guys out. So, let's get on with it. Where's Homicide or Hernandez?
Yeah,
no, that's where it needs to go.
Where they at? Where's Homicide? I want to see him.
Give me Homicide.
When's
give
this
me
blood
Hernandez.
and guts match?
See, I don't want this to be the. I don't want this to be the blood and guts match. I know it's gonna be.
That's what they're leading to, Will Washington.
I know. I don't want this one to be the blood and guts match. Like, look, I already saw Jericho in blood and guts.
Yeah, I don't want to see Jericho and them in there again. That's the
I already saw Hager in one, and like the star of the last blood and guts match was Sammy, and he ain't gonna be in the next one. So like, and Santana and Ortiz were in the last one. Like. Right. I don't know. You now established that the Elite has 5 members. That's the group I want to see.
That's the one.
That's the one I want to see.
But they're all going to be fighting each other, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. And shout out Nathan DePaul says Daniel Garcia. That is all.
Dan Garcia. We all love Dan Garcia.
He was great in the segment, though.
Tip-top form last night. Just being so silly.
He was great in this segment. The way he got in everybody's faces and talked his shit. He was good. And Santana and Ortiz were also great here. And Eddie's also great. And the thing is, like, Jericho's not bad here either. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of over the cheekiness of the group, and I am ready for this to, like, really get to a head. I know it's not going to happen till Double or Nothing. Mm-hmm. And they're obviously not going to do Blood and Guts at Double or Nothing because that would require 2 rings the entire show, and I don't think they're going to do that. I bet you Double or Nothing this time around is like a Rampage, because then at that point it's like an hour long. We just do a 1 hour show with the big cage, and then we don't have to do much else. Mm-hmm. That would be my guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or they just do it as a Dynamite again, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
So what else was on this show? Oh, duh. So, stop me if you've heard this one before. Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb are great.
5 million times, yeah. If I had a nickel for every time, I'd have a whole bunch of nickels.
Hey, Andrew Zarian stopped through. What's up, Andrew Zarian?
Yes, and I agree with what he said also.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Shout out Andrew Zarian. He said Santana and Ortiz should have had the title by now.
But then I also agree with what you said earlier into response to that Public Enemy post about them being it out the gate. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think you should have had them out the gate. But I think, they're...
By now.
But either by now
also,
or
though,
like...
I don't know, though, because, like, the way that the tag team championships have been pretty... I like everything that they've done so far. So it's hard to be like somebody else should have been at this time. Because at what time? Like... When?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're close. I feel like Again, though, I got to get him. I want to see them do anything outside of Jericho.
Jeez, I thought this was it, but they're still here. Oh my God.
Still here. Yeah, I want to see him do something outside of those two. Or outside of Jericho. Right. But Serena Deeb, Hikaru Shida, returned to the place where it all started. This feud started in Philadelphia when Hikaru Shida was going for her 50th win, and Serena Deeb ended that. And now it's time for Retribution. We saw them have another rematch in Boston. And that one... Am I remembering all this correctly? I think I am. They had the rematch in Boston.
I believe it.
And Shida won. That one, that's like my women's match of the year, 2021, as I went back through. That one really was the one of the best matches of the year. And then they had the third match in Garland at Winter's Coming. Then they had that fourth match in, I want to say, Newark, was it? And finally, we're back with the fifth and final, they say. And this was a Philadelphia street fight. This was not like their other matches. I played off of things from their other matches, but the other matches were straight up professional wrestling matches. And also, Bro in the chat says, respectfully, Shida's street fight gear.
That's not the first time that I've heard that in the last 24 hours. So a lot of people were fans.
Yes, I heard that a lot. And Shida, and I've said this before, Shida's one of my favorite wrestlers. Like,
yes,
my top 5 wrestlers around today. I love watching Hikaru Shida wrestle. I think she has just such a creative style and such an intensity. And she's also a very good, especially if you've seen her stuff from Japan. Like, I was just watching her matches with Asuka, who she's gone around with a million times. Those two know each other so well. And a lot of people don't even put those names together because they think, Asuka, WWE, and Hikaru Shida, AEW. But Asuka back as Kana and Shida in different promotions. Those two went around and around and around and around. Hikaru Shida and Asuka know each other very well. And they've had some awesome bouts with each other. And then Serena Deeb, of course, the professor. Class is in session. That's a reference I shouldn't be making yet. You'll know what that means soon. But Serena Deeb had... but these two went at it, and
chemistry. They just have chemistry together. That's why they have this many matches together. This match was, like you said, very different than their other match. This match was just brutal. They just went out there and beat each other up with chairs and on the outsides. Just like this was, they've had a couple of brutal contests, but this one was like, no, we're about to finish this. This is the last fight, and Deeb got a black eye. Like this was this was some action right here.
Yep. Really quick, want to give another super chat a shout. Will, that Triple H Venus mashup you made killed me. I told you that, like I said in my tweet about it, that mashup has existed in my head for a really long time, and for whatever reason, I just sat down to like start editing some music, and I'm like, I need to make this King of Kings Venus mashup before like my head explodes, because nobody ever know what I'm talking about when Triple H's theme plays and I just start humming, I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, your and like, they're like, why do you sing that Triple H's theme? I'm like, I don't know. They're like similar enough in key to where I could get there. So I'm like, you know what? I just have to like make this, and it's existed in my head for years, and I finally made it, and I was happy. And
it's out
then
now.
I
Your
shared
brain's
it with
like, thank God, I got so tired of thinking about this.
And I shared it with the world. I've got a couple more mashups, like Sami Zayn's theme with Gangsta's Paradise is another one that exists in my head.
Is your head putting these things together?
I don't know, but I'm not alone here, right? Because like, there's a whole TikTok genre, a whole sub TikTok of, I mean, it's like really popular on TikTok. Just throw together songs that don't have shit to do with each other. But like, in my head, again, it's another one of Sami Zayn's theme. Da, 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 as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I don't know why these things exist.
I'm so confused.
in my head together.
Oh,
But
man.
sometimes I will just mash up songs that ain't got shit to do with each other.
Mhm.
And then they
Yeah,
actually...
those two songs are like way different. Like Sammy Zayn's ska rip-off theme and Gangsta's Paradise are like,
Oh, yeah.
they're on two different planets.
Yeah. And when it gets to the hook, too.
Mhm.
And it's like we've been spending most of our lives. Like, I'm telling you, that shit is gonna be so dope. Matter of fact,
is so weird,
you know what I'm
dude.
doing with my evening tonight?
Oh my
Sami Zayn Gangsta's Paradise is going to happen this evening.
most of our lives. Oh man.
Oh shit. Anyway, Shida and Deeb, they had some
Yes.
creative spots here. They did the of course Deeb hits her with the bag of coke under the ring.
Yeah, she put a random bag of cocaine from under the ring. Not
Yeah, and
very,
you know,
that's pretty. It's a wrestling show, so not very far off.
Well, and you know what? Like, it's reasonable to be like, you know, you would need powder for a lot of various different things in pro wrestling. So it's not unreasonable that that would be under the ring. But the way that that Ziploc bag looked.
Like, come on, man. Like, this is some Griselda shit. Like, they got
Yeah.
baggies of that stuff under the.
But then
under the
Shida
ring.
goes for her, she's blinded, but then she goes for the kendo stick and is just swinging blindly until she goes out, gets the water. She got the water. Crowd chants H2O after that. That was great. And I thought the Falcon Arrow off the top, the Avalanche Falcon Arrow was great. But then ultimately, Shida gets hit with the deep talks on the steel chair, which then results in Serena Deeb. I'm trying to do this whole match from memory. Serena Deeb then locks in the Serenity Lock. Shida gets to the ropes. Aubrey tells her, no rope breaks, sorry. And you see the look on her face of like, oh shit. And then Deeb takes her back into the ring, smashes her knee into the chair, and then taps her out. Serena. But then we cut to... So what was interesting was...
after match.
Yeah. So there's always been this question of... You know, you've got this. We've had this Serena Deeb Shida thing going on for so long, literally 7 months. Honestly, all of Grapsody's existence. This is like it started in October when we did. At the beginning of October, at that, all of Grapsody's existence has been around this feud.
This feud.
And then there was this question of, well, what the hell is next for Thunder Rosa? Not quite putting together. I wasn't even putting together that. Oh, this is what's about to lead into. This is what's next for Thunder Rosa. The reason this is Thunder Rosa's next thing.
Deeb
and
has
Thunder
been
Rosa,
beating ass to get to Thunder Rosa.
and Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb know each other quite well as well. The NWA women's title matches early in Thunder Rosa's AEW run and Deeb's AEW run. They started out together, and now it's time to go pay-per-view.
Yep.
And
That's going to be a battle. That's going to be a fight. It's going to be a good one.
They know each other well. And so we had a backstage segment that I'm only just now putting together mentally, where MJF was interviewed by Lexi Nair, and he tells Lexi Nair off to call who we're all assuming is Big Cass. And Lexi Nair and Big Cass are together in real life. I didn't even like that's just now occurred to me as I saw Lexi Nair's name down, and I thought, I wonder if that's going to come into play here. If well, like, is it going to come into play as far as, hey, you were a piece of shit to my girlfriend, and that's a problem. But yes, W. Morrissey and Lexi Nair, that is his real life girlfriend.
Connections.
We'll see what happens there. But yeah, he said that he's called somebody that is bigger than you and taller than you, and you can't teach that. It's weird. If you had asked me a year ago if I wanted to see W. Morrissey on Dynamite, I'd have been like, hell no. I have zero interest in Big Cass. But I will say his stuff in Impact wasn't bad. This is one of those, like, don't guarantee him no spots, but at least
A Dynamite match is fine.
Yeah, but a Dynamite match is fine against Wardlow. Another big man for Wardlow to beat.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
but if the W Morrissey is All Elite, no, please don't. Sorry. I love you, bro, but yeah,
we then had.
You already got Lance Archer. You already got the big white guy that does the big boot.
Only one test per show.
Look, yeah, come on. There's one test per show limit. You can't be having a bunch of tests running around. There's already Lance Archer. He's gonna be pissed.
Yeah,
with his gentrification braid.
Then we had, so we had a moment with the House of Black. They of course laid out Fuego. They were about to take off his mask, but then we have what we thought was Alex Abrahantes in the ring, who calls out House of Black. They start to approach him in the ring, but then Penta's music hits. Penta hits the stage, and then Pac's music hits. Pac hits the stage, but then Alex Abrahantes comes to the stage. And if Alex Abrahantes is at the stage,
if you're there,
who was that
then who's back
in the ring? And then he reveals that it's actually Rey Fenix.
Yes, the best luchador in the world. It's lit. He's back. He had the arm injury a couple months ago in that tables tag match with with his brother. He's back. We've been waiting. There's been a lot of matches were canceled because he was hurt that were very exciting.
Well, and I keep seeing all these matches announced that he's in, and that's why I was like, oh, he's got to be back like soon. No, I saw the matches. Yeah, I saw the AAA matches
on Saturday.
Yeah, I saw that, and I thought, okay, so his AEW return is like imminent. When I saw the announcement of his AAA matches, and so
that shit. Oh my god.
Yeah, and my immediate thought was, Buddy Matthews, Rey Fenix, gimme. I
put it on next week, bro. They fought. I want to see it. Yeah, I'm ready for this, man.
I am ready for that. Give me Buddy Matthews and Rey Fenix. Give me. But also Pac's back. We ain't seen Pac in almost 2 months.
World. Yeah, like him versus anybody is awesome. They're about to do Forbidden Door. We need to see him in one of those matches more than anybody almost at this point. So, and then beyond that, like the 6-man, if they do the 6-man at the pay-per-view or anywhere that they do it, it's going to be insane. So like so many things came out of this little segment. It's awesome to see Rey Fenix back. He's legit my favorite luchador in the world. So his matches are always must see, unpredictable. He's amazing.
Hey, keep talking while I take a phone call.
Yeah, he's no, I'm just kidding. So yeah, the segment was really dope. House of Black. I'm interested I want to see them. That you talked about Buddy Matthews, but Buddy Matthews we haven't even seen a lot of matches. We haven't seen him on TV. Brody King's been there very recently. So it'll be interesting to see how they go from here. Are they going to start doing singles matches with each of the guys? Are they going to go straight into the 6-man? What's going to happen here? I'm super.
We got 4 weeks, so yeah. There's time.
I think time's going to go by so fast though at this point. I know.
But the thing is, 4 weeks in AEW, that's 4 weeks and 8 shows because you got Dynamite and Rampage, so there's plenty you can do in that time.
Tony Khan's in the gym just like.
And we also had. By the way, I didn't rate it. Deeb and Shida, also an A. Sticking with it. There's been a few A's in this show. Mm-hmm. And I guess A's in the chat for A's. And then we had Undisputed Elite taking on Dante Martin, Brock Anderson, Lee Johnson, and the Varsity Blondes. 10-man tag. The Undisputed Elite came out. So Undisputed Era came out in the Undisputed Elite shirts, but the Bucks did not quite seem on board yet. And this match was barely a match. You could even call it that. It was an
Undisputed Elite squash match. It
was them squashing, but then really the whole payoff to this match was that the Bucks are finally on board with Red Dragon. And they took the shirts, they put them on, they did the pose, and for the first time ever, the Super Click and the Undisputed Era are one. They are the Undisputed Elite.
Undisputed Elite in the building.
They put the shirts on. There it is. They're now.
That's until at least the big dog comes back, and I'm talking about Roman Reigns.
That is the beauty here, right? Was that Kenny told the Bucks hold down the fort, and somehow Adam Cole brought his boys in and took the group over, and they're now the Undisputed Elite. They're selling T-shirts.
Where's Kenny's place when he comes back? He's supposed to be the leader of this. Where's he gonna fit in here?
He's not. So there's a lot of fun stuff here.
Trios titles. They have to bring the ROH trio. They have to have trios titles when Ken comes back. Like,
yeah, absolutely, because ultimately, Undisputed Era versus the original Elite is the match for trios titles.
Exactly.
And so at some point, the Bucks will choose Kenny, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But either way, for now, this group of 5 is like, I can't say really anything about the match. Like, the match, like, to me, it gets a D just because you pinned Lee Johnson. But
Lee Johnson had some great selling in here. And Nick Jackson hit like an X factor on him, and I was like, "Well, this is some great selling." Shout out to Lee Johnson.
Yeah. But ultimately, I do like the Undisputed Elite as a faction, and I do want to see what they do with this group.
Yes.
And that, like I said, that's the 5 I want to see in a Blood and Guts match. Because one, as a matter of fact, my dream Blood and Guts match,
let's go,
if I can, is these 5, Undisputed Elite, versus... So when I tweeted earlier about this, I said that they should add 2 members to the BCC. Now, I'm not saying you should. Actually, I'm stealing a reply's idea. More, I want to see bring in FTR just to team with them. Because FTR's got beef with Red Dragon. FTR's got beef with the Young Bucks. They don't necessarily have to join the BCC, but more so just a common enemy. So then we have Wheeler Yuta, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood versus Kyle O'Reilly.
Bro, send Tony Khan this text right now. Tell him to book this match. What are we
that, and then that's my 5, because there's a lot of things you can do there, right? If you want to throw in some NXT references, the fact that, hey, who's got the most War Games experience? Adam Cole. And then if you got these like 10 people going at it, who would be the one to set this match up? William Regal. Like, there's little things you could do there if you want to throw those references in there. But then on top of that, to get the best match possible, I think you would get so much out of that. 5 on 5. That's what I want to see.
Brian. There's Brian. There's Blood. Young Bucks are flipping. Adam Cole has the experience. This is that's beautiful.
That's what I want to see. That's my 5 on 5 is those matches, or that match specifically. Reading the chat some more, by the way. And let me make sure I'm not missing any humpers this time, because I get that every time that we're doing Day After Dynamite, and I don't want to miss the humper chats. I just had them open, and for whatever reason, what happened to that humper chat tab?
Classic.
Nah,
Classic.
They here somewhere. One of these windows. I was like,
who are they going to feud with from now until Kenny gets back, though? I think is the most interesting thing.
Yeah. So. I have no idea. There's a lot of places they could go. But yeah, so some things mentioned in the chat. They were talking about, of course, the AEW video game being announced next week. Not being announced, but there's details on that game that are going to be really cool. That I hope people.
Hopefully, they're going to talk about them when they do this little special on the game next week.
So, because there's some cool stuff that
All Elite Arcade.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. Nothing in the humper chats. Good. Not good. I mean, send us your humper chats if you want some humper chats.
Yes.
I'm good that I didn't miss anything.
We want them to be flooded.
Yes. But keep sending us your super chats and all that jazz. So, throughout the show, we also saw some video promos. We got a great promo, I thought, from Scorpio Sky, and a great one from Sammy. I actually thought Sammy's was really good, other than him just continuing. But I get it. I get what they're doing, all the tongue and for, because it's like, we really want to make sure you hate this couple.
Yes.
And you are supposed to hate this couple. Now, granted, I don't think we were originally supposed to hate this couple.
No.
Anybody that thinks this was the plan all along, no, obviously not. But because I think wrestling promoters as a whole tend to not recognize that nobody wants to see a babyface in a relationship.
That's just how it is.
It's just how it is. You know, they even acknowledged on commentary, the fans loved Ty Conti, the fans loved Sammy Guevara, but once the two of them got together, the fans did not love them anymore.
Because they're haters. We talked about it.
But this is what happened with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Like, we didn't mind as fans, and I'd say we, but I wasn't booing them. But, but you know, fans didn't necessarily mind them as these two big baby faces. It was just more so we didn't want to see them paired together on screen. Like, we know they're in a relationship. Just keep it off screen because, like, typically any type of PDA is going to be met with annoyance.
Yes.
People are just annoyed by PDA.
No matter what.
No matter what. And a relationship in pro wrestling in general is PDA because you're literally publicly displaying your affection. And so I recognize why fans turned on him. People kind of just don't want to see relationships. I recognize, like, very quickly, and luckily WWE pivoted. But do you remember in 2013 they like briefly introduced Brie Bella into the Bryan, like into Daniel Bryan's rise, and then once they recognized, ooh, people might not be into this, they pulled her out of it quickly.
Yeah, I do remember that because it's just like that. People are haters; they don't want to see the good guy. And there's like an old saying about you want the women to want to be with you and the men of something in wrestling. So like seeing the baby face with the woman is always just like, it just doesn't work.
It doesn't, because no matter what, it's a braggy move. Which,
exactly.
You know, that's
especially to some of these fans who
that too.
Girlfriend. So yeah. Oh, he has a girlfriend. I don't. Oh, that son of a bitch.
But the thing is, you turn him heel, then it makes perfect sense. But anyway, we got some announcements.
Did his fucking super fast talking man where he announces a bunch of badass shit, and I'm just freaking out at the TV like, oh, and then 1 second later he announced something else crazy, and then one more second later it's something else crazy. He did one of those crazy things at this point.
Totally buried the lead last week with FTR facing each other, where they put the graphic up so quickly that people were like, wait, did they mean they're in individual matches? No, they're facing each other. What the hell?
Right.
And this week was that, in that one, we got what I thought one of the most beautiful 6-woman tag matches we'll ever see. Just the graphic that I saw.
Fire.
So, didn't Willow Nightingale compete on Dark earlier in the night?
She did.
So she got 2 matches on this show.
Yes.
On this show. But Willow Nightingale teaming with Trish Adora, making her TV debut.
Let's fucking go. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Number 1 on the Black Wrestling's 500.
Number 1, yes.
Number 1.
World Pan-African World Diaspora Champion, the world champion. Trish Adora is going to be on television with Willow as her partner. I'm going to cry.
As her partner. And Sky Blue's out there too.
Yeah, shout out to Sky Blue.
Taking on the baddie team. We're taking on Kiera Hogan, taking on Red Velvet, and taking on the TBS champion, Jade Cargill. So there's that. There was also Deonna Purrazzo is going to be making her AEW Dynamite debut.
They could have maybe had like a Deonna promo here or something. I think could have made like 30 seconds to be like, yo, I'm coming to be the undisputed ROH Women's Champion. But I get it.
I mean, it's so fascinating what Deonna's rise has been, right? Yeah. Because, like, you know, she had some buzz in the Indies and in Japan. Mm-hmm. And then she signed with WWE. She was in NXT.
Yep.
They basically killed her buzz. And then, you know, she really, her only, like, arena TV appearances where she was squashed by Asuka. Squashed by Asuka during Asuka's heel run. And then she was... let me think about this also. And then she had a just like 2 main event matches against Sarah Logan, and that was it.
That was it.
Oh yeah, and then she got but that was during the pandemic, because then she did have one match against Nia Jax on
right.
Raw where she got squashed, but again, that was in the Performance Center, and then she was released. That was it. And then she goes, signs with Impact. Really builds a name for. Yeah, it really built a name for herself over this throughout the pandemic. Completely built a name for herself. Got this whole new identity for herself, and really made herself stand out and matter during the pandemic. And then, of course, crowds come back. But since she's been out of WWE, she hasn't worked a crowd of more than like 1,000 people at most. Right. I think there was Final Battle.
Oh no, she did the AAA show.
Okay,
yeah,
that's right.
Probably that's like the biggest crowd she's worked.
That's
different, But
yeah,
yes,
yeah, she's now gonna be working Dynamite as somebody completely different than the last time she was on like a Monday Night Raw, and it's gonna be a competitive match. It's gonna be her getting to show,
and the whole crowd's gonna know who she is. Like,
whole crowd's gonna know who she is.
Yeah.
Like, this is the same arena that Final Battle was in back in December, but that had like half the people that this is, not even half, that this one's gonna have this Wednesday. So cool for Deanna. Like, this was really cool.
And then Mercedes Martinez,
against Mercedes Martinez,
lit, super fire.
And Swerve is facing Darby. This was
yes. This was one of those ones that, like, when Swerve was announced for AEW, you're like, oh, the Darby match is gonna be like, they're gonna redo that, and here we are, right here.
Are you kidding me? Talking to Swerve before signing with AEW, it was like, okay, what do you want to do with your career? What do you want to do next now that you're no longer in WWE? And it was like, well, I got to get in the ring with Darby at some point. Like, this was stuff that, like, I talked to him about, and it was to see this come to fruition. And this is going to be the first, to me, I feel, of many. Like, I love the fact that they addressed that these two know each other well. They immediately talked about their Defy stuff. They immediately talked about the history that these two have with each other. And of course,
Pacific Northwest in the building. Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are both, Seattle mainstays. And then I liked Swerve talking about this as Swerve's house, and Darby said, you keep walking into places claiming it's your house, but I'm going to remind you that this is mine. And I have heard from people who were in the building that this was match of the night. So Rampage this Friday, Swerve versus Darby.
Wow.
I'm excited. Yeah. And then we got the main event. TNT title on the line. You know what I liked here? The second belt is like officially gone. We don't have a second belt anywhere. There ain't no second belt for Dan Lambert to wear. Right. It's gone. It's out. Sammy only carried one. There was only one hanging from the rafters. We only have one belt here. Ladder match. TNT Championship. Sammy Guevara defended against Scorpio Sky.
Scorpio Sky, baby. California love in the building. Yeah, there was a lot of, we talked about it in the group chat we've been talking about Scorpio Sky for weeks now. And, and not just us, everybody in the world that watches AEW was kind of confused on why they did the title switch with Sammy so quickly from Scorpio Sky. Everybody thought he was going to have a long run. And even going into this match, we were kind of like, I think Phil tweeted something like, something feels off. I don't know if Scorpio Sky is going to win here, because it did feel it felt a little bit like, I don't know here. Even for a moment there, I was like, I don't know, but, they got into it, and they
I don't know. For whatever reason, I knew the moment this rematch happened, you couldn't do it to Scorpio again.
Right.
Because I don't know. I have felt like, we'll talk about this a little bit more in Grapsody because I want Phil in on this conversation as well, so we'll be repeating some shit. But definitely. I felt like I said this a couple weeks ago on Grapsody, but it's felt like for a long time, Scorpio Sky has been somebody that AEW has been behind for a long time. And has been looking for that right scenario.
Feels like since the beginning, honestly.
Since the beginning, yeah. Really, because like you look at the original tag team tournament, that was a tournament to push Scorpio. That was, he wasn't in it, and he ends up last minute having to get in it, and he wins the whole thing. Right. That was the story of the original tag team title tournament. He won the Face of the Revolution ladder match, and it felt like he's always been somebody who's been well liked enough to be pushed. It was just a matter of what's the right scenario to push him.
And he's been lingering around the TNT title since the TNT title's inception too. He's been connected to it.
And so it's one of those things where if you looked at going into Battle of the Belts, where both Sammy Guevara and Scorpio Sky were, it's one of those, if you saw, we want to push Scorpio. And I've always been of the belief there is no harm in any company choosing somebody and sticking to them. Yeah. I don't think there was harm in choosing Roman Reigns and sticking to Roman Reigns. No. I think the issue was not reading the room and going with what the fans were trying to do. And this is one of those cases where if Scorpio's the guy you wanted to push, but you're not necessarily getting the reactions you want. You have Sammy Guevara over here who's getting booed, and you have Scorpio Sky over here who's not getting much of a reaction at all. Mm-hmm. So it's obviously not working for Scorpio Sky as a heel. So what do you do here? And to me, I think the best option is to do it in reverse, to turn him face. But how do you turn him face without building some sympathy on him?
Right.
Because you can't just be like, okay, well, it's not working as a heel, so cheer him. Mm-hmm. Not how it works in pro wrestling. You have to get somebody cheered in some way, shape, or form. So to me, the easiest way to do it was screw him out of the belt. Build some sympathy. Mm-hmm. Now, we've seen this before. Daniel Bryan, 2013. Mm-hmm. You screw somebody out of the belt, you prolong it until the fans ultimately want to see it happen. Yeah. They didn't prolong this. It was literally like we screwed him out of the belt. Sammy low-blowed him, took his belt away from him. A week later, Scorpio got it back. And got cheered to heaven for it. Yeah. So, he's a babyface. But there's still more of a babyface story to tell here. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about that part in a second. The match itself. Sammy nearly killed himself out
Sammy
there.
Guevara, fucking-lax, dude. Don't. The last match where you did the table bump on the outside, scary. So why would you do another scary-ass bump here? That was so... Sammy, relax. Please. Mm-hmm. Jesus. Oh, my God. That was so scary.
It was scary. The two of them, they started outside of the ring. And the crowd was almost immediately into Scorpio. You didn't get much of a reaction in his entrance, but it was like, you know what? We want to see fuck Sammy up. Please fuck Sammy up. We hate this guy. And that was actually helping Scorpio out quite a bit. But yeah, Sammy hit that spot. They redid the cutter spot, except Scorpio saw it coming and hit him with a cutter of his own. That was fun. I actually really like that because I'm like, don't just redo the spot. And I noticed Sammy taking a longer time than usual, and I thought, what's going on here? And then he hit the reversal, and that was cool.
Boom, they redid the spot, but he got reversed. There you go.
He got reversed. Mm-hmm. They had the barbed wire ladder that saw the Spanish fly onto it. Mm-hmm. We saw Scorpio Sky almost have the belt won, but then we got interference from Ty Conti. We saw interference from Dan Lambert. Dan Lambert got low blowed. Paige Van Zant came in. We saw some dual brawling between those two to keep building up the mixed tag.
Ronda Rousey spot in the corner. Punch in the corner. Yeah, Ronda Rousey spot.
We saw the barbed wire ladder get
Don't
set
just
back
make her
up.
Ronda Rousey too, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Yes. And Sammy gets thrown off the ladder onto the barbed wire ladder. Scorpio starts climbing. We're like, oh my God, it's over. But then false finish. Sammy jumps back up.
When Sammy jumped up there, I'm like, these sons of bitches, they're doing it to us.
Hey, no, I will say that was a good way to fake people out though, because it was one of those like, all right, we know how ladder matches end. We saw Sammy take the big bump. Scorpio get his triumphant grab. It's over. And Sammy jumps back on and you're like, oh shit.
They already did the big bump. What are they going to do now?
It's like, oh no, Sammy is going to retain. But then, what's funny is my wrestling production brain immediately went, nah, Scorpio Sky's facing the hard camera.
Exactly.
He's the one that's going to win.
Right, exactly.
Sammy is not facing the camera. He is not in position to win. And sure enough, Sammy gets knocked off one last time. Scorpio grabs the belt. He's your new champ. out comes Frankie Kazarian to congratulate him. But in the background, you notice that Ethan Page and Dan Lambert don't look happy about Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio's first tag partner, being out there with him. Scorpio's the guy, but now he's tied between a couple of teams that he's been a part of.
Your friend, Frankie Kazarian's been your friend for a long time, 15 plus years. And then these guys are new. What are you going to do? They came up with California. What's going to go on? I guess that's going to be the California match, maybe? That's kind of a wild.
I mean, he owes Kazarian a shot. Like, I've had some ideas. That's a great
California main event because they're both California royalty at this point. So,
like, everybody was looking at Dan Lambert and Ethan Page being angry here. But if I wanted to swerve people, if I were writing this, I would make this a triple cross moment where, like, have Kazarian, because Scorpio needs to leave ATT. We're past that. Like, he needs to leave ATT. But
he doesn't need to go back with Frankie Kazarian.
He doesn't need to go back with because I've seen that, like, reform SCU. No. I would do something completely different. I would have Kazarian turn and reveal, like, he's taking his place inside ATT.
Right.
And Ethan Page and Kaz now team up as Scorpio's ex-partners, now turned a team of their own. Give Scorpio some more adversity and give fans more of a reason to be behind him. So that's what I would do anyway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do an SCU reunion. No. I've wanted to see Scorpio, like, straight up on his own for a while.
By himself. We see that he could do the promo. We can see that he could carry himself. He doesn't need help.
A- here. I was happy. I was happy with the ending. I was happy with Scorpio. He's a champion. It's fun.
It was a ladder match. It was fucking dangerous. I liked it.
Overall, I had fun with this episode. I wasn't happy with the Philly crowd. I thought Philly was a lot less into it than I thought.
Yeah,
Philly,
some
of all places,
spots
was gonna
they
be.
were just, like, not all the way in.
I know. Somebody told me that a lot of it had to do with Philly's rising COVID cases.
Oh, shit.
And somebody was there. He said that because Philly reintroduced their mask mandate and then pulled it back. But some people are still like, nah, fucking, I'm wearing my mask. And so there were a lot of masks at the show, I'm told. I didn't see many on camera, but I saw a few. But I don't know. Something just sounded off with that show. And I wonder if that's what it was. But either way, especially because they've been running Texas lately, and them Texas crowds have been, like, off the charts.
They're lit because they don't care about COVID. It's just how it is. They're like, we don't care about no fucking mask, dude. I'm coming to cheer and drink Budweiser. I'm nervous about Vegas as fuck, so shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Vegas will be there. I'll be there.
Another bunch of people who also don't give a fuck about COVID, so yeah.
How to do ratings wise? I already saw this, but I'm going to act like I haven't seen it yet. So, Dynamite for April 27th, 2022, pulled in 921,000 viewers. It was, I didn't even see where is it ranked on the old rankings. Who has that? That's Showbuzz Daily.
I mean, that's these numbers. I haven't talked about numbers of AEW for a while, but these numbers are pretty great considering that basketball is happening.
Yeah, I was going to say,
they're still lingering around the same. You know what I mean? They're still lingering around 1 million people when basketball is destroying. Like, everyone is watching basketball. Like,
yeah, it was fourth for the night, right behind the two NBA games and inside the NBA. So. Yeah, it's still,
like, considering those are great numbers, man.
Yeah, so it's still doing well. It's still doing relatively well.
And it's also like kind of crazy to be watching a basketball game and then be like, CM Punk and Hangman Adam Page are gonna fight, and it's like, yo, this is kind of crazy. Like, this basketball, but they're talking about AEW. So I still think those numbers are pretty wild.
Although for the wrestling doesn't draw people. What do you think the number one quarter of the show was?
I don't know.
The biggest quarter of the show did over 1 million viewers.
Mm-hmm.
It was the second half of Dax and Cash. So again, I don't know where this comes from when people say wrestling doesn't draw,
that
because
goes to word of mouth of people talking about it online and people being like, okay, I'm gonna turn it on and watch the rest of it.
Yes,
needle
wrestling, because the beauty of wrestling, it's statistically not proven that wrestling doesn't draw. Like, literally, Bryan Danielson and Hangman Adam Page wrestled for an hour, and that match grew in viewership the longer it went on. The more people wrestle, the longer a match goes, the more people tune into it. Yeah. And that's what we've seen. But yeah, Dax and Cash did over 1 million viewers in the second half of their match. That was the peak of the show.
That's awesome.
So you can't even say that it was like the Big Bang Theory lead in, because it was the second half of the match that actually the first quarter was below it. So that match grew. Lowest was actually the 10-man tag.
Yikers.
That did low. That did like 784.
Oh no, the Young Bucks are out there.
Yeah, that was a huge drop. Now, granted, that was also against the end of the first NBA game. And that was where
people are switching over back.
That was where the Bulls were starting to make their comeback. So either way, that's it. That's Day After Dynamite. That's what we do here on Day After Dynamite. We talk all the things from the day after Dynamite. Yeah. But you can catch me and Righteous Reg this Saturday, literally day after tomorrow. Not even 48 hours. We're going to be talking about all this stuff again. We got more to talk about with Scorpio. I tried to save some stuff because I want Phil here for this conversation. Yep. And next week, who's hosting next week with me? I think Keeks is hosting next week. That'll be fun. So, right here on Day After Dynamite, baby. Righteous Reg, anything you want to let the folks Day After Dynamite know?
Yes, of course. Yo, it's me, Media Man. You guys know what time it is. Yo, and I got a new article on Wrestle Talk. I talked about Impact Wrestling. You know, I'm obsessed with Impact Wrestling. Everything surrounding Impact Wrestling. I talked about a few ideas on how to retain those fans that keep showing up and keep leaving. And also Blackpool Combat Club new Righteous Reg music video online right now. Go and find that. It's really dope. I'm rapping on top of a building in San Francisco. That's, it's just magic here. And, PWI, I be writing and shit. And every Saturday, I'm a part of a really dope podcast. I hope all you guys watch it. If you're watching this, you definitely watch that. So
yeah, if you're watching this, you watch Grapsody.
That's what it is.
Yeah, so check out Grapsody.
RighteousReg.bandcamp.com. Holler at your boy.
Yeah, check out Blackpool Combat Club. Specifically the song, not the...
Yes, the song.
I mean,
check out the group too. The group's badass. But yeah, the song.
Check out the song. Anyway, folks, that's it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day. Peace.